Hi everyone, welcome back. The last presentation of the day, and now it's your turn. You have been waiting for this the whole morning, I know.
Been waiting the whole morning, exactly.
Now it's here. So we were talking, or Daniel more specifically, or the gentlemen, they were talking about prototyping, and now we're gonna go, it's kind of a smooth transition to your presentation, because iCast is about accelerating small batch production, but it's also related to prototyping in some sense. So now I don't need to introduce you. You can do that yourself. I think we all know you pretty well by now. So I'm gonna hand the stage over to you, and then we meet up for a Q&A. Mm-hmm. And then it's the end of the day for us. Right. But well, have fun.
Thank you very much. All right then, Maria mentioned it perfectly. The iCast is basically a prototyping service, but it also a small batch productions for part out of LSR, liquid silicone rubber. So it closes perfectly the gap between a prototype and pre-series. And the reason for develop this is market requirements as we see them. So there's an increasing number of product variations out in the market due to very fast changing technologies these days. Most of them are purely customized products with a lot of design verifications, which then are needed in the application, but also in assembly lines. And that implicates a lot of rapid modification of these designs. So a lot of market dynamics are happening, and the iCast is a perfect process to support those. It's about rapid LSR batch production, as mentioned, between prototyping, pre-series, and then high volume. But it's also a purely digital manufacturing modular process. So that includes the entire value-adding steps from receiving an RFQ, the order inquiry. We have heard that at the panel discussion. So it's not only, yeah, we can do it or we can't do it, but we will then also consider the feasibility, design for manufacturing aspects already on that stage. We reflect that then in the quotation, which we aim to provide rapidly. When it comes to an order, we then transfer it into manufacturing. So we do a proper 3D design of the part, like a 3D design that would also fit for an injection molding process for a steel tool later on. And then we go into manufacturing. But let's look at either of the steps a bit in more details. Based on a 24/7 available online inquiry tool, which we operate with artificial intelligence software, we check the feasibility of the 3D model we are receiving. As mentioned, we can then already suggest some modifications, some little adjustments, or purely go for it, quote it, and send out a quotation in a really rapid manner. After we are receiving an order or we agree on the producibility of the part, we will start immediately in a 3D model based on a CAD data like we would do for a steel tool, as already mentioned, because our additive manufacturing process is based on a 3D printed casting process, as the name iCast already suggests. So there are tooling inserts involved, which we produce in a 3D way. That includes process flow, material flow, a demolding process, and may include a post-curing step afterwards. So this is a full functional part at the end from a design and from a manufacturing process within the iCast. A comparison between status of the art liquid injection molding process, considering all these steps, I think it's fair to say it would require something like 18 weeks. Okay, there may be some variation based on the complexity and of course on the quantity, but I think an average 18 weeks for a steel tool-based LSR injection molded part is a fair assumption. With the iCast, we can reduce this entirely down or up to 3 weeks, providing more than only one prototype, but already a series up to 5, 10, 20,000 pieces if required. So there's quite a remarkable time reduction with this service possible. So a recap of these steps, we do not only provide a prototype there, we can provide a small series, quantities up to 5, maybe 10,000 pieces, in a designed way that the part already fits for a high volume series or for a production out of a steel-based tool. So there will be no variation from the parts we provide with the iCast service and then the part you will receive later out of a series production. Again, a comparison between injection molding and the iCast service or pointing out the focus areas. So the part quantities, the series quantities, the product volumes. Injection molding typically aims for mid to high volume. With the iCast, we would go low to medium volume. The surface, the quality of the part we provide in iCast comes already medium to high. So it is very, very comparable to a steel-based injection molding process. There are absolutely no pre-investments needed. So no investments into tool, nor aluminium inserts or steel inserts or machinery equipment. This is all available or not needed by the process. And now the very most important part, we use standard LSR grades. That means series material. It's no need that we modify it, that we add some fillers or additives or some magic powder. No, we use the materials which are listed, which will be used later, compliant to certain regulation with the material certificate, as you know. And we can deliver such parts within days if needed, generally speaking within 3 weeks as a maximum timeline. So how can you benefit really from the iCast? Shorter lead times, higher speed to market, our real rapid response times, availability at the front end, at the inquiry stage, with response times, but through the entire production process. There are no need for expensive prototypes, which then may not fit really in a series process, which need to be remodeled later on in a design for manufacturing process, which are simply not injection moldable, which require different parting lines or geometries or undercuts you cannot obtain or achieve then later out of series tools. These are functional, fully functional prototypes, not only for the prototype, but also for small batches. And then, of course, again, small batches are to be defined, can be hundreds, can be thousands of parts, and using the original series material. No modifications, series material, carrying all the certificates, all the compliances for the different markets. And suitable for small batch production, mid-size volume, that depends a bit. Of course, if it is a very small shot weight, we can work with higher cavitation in the inserts. We can do multiple inserts and process them at the same time. So this is really a process we can scale, and this is how we can reach quantities up to thousands. A summary: the added value from the iCast process, which is exclusively available from Trelleborg. It is a very safe and efficient use of resources. It comes with very superior service levels at the inquiry stage, at the production stage. It is really a differentiator between a prototype service only and a small to mid-sized batch production. It allows an involvement from us in the very early stage, and I think this is really the value add, the concept we have heard all through the day, which we then also can provide with the iCast. It will allow a lot of new business opportunities because we can so fast modify profiles or provide parts for new ideas, different designs without having the economical aspect, investing into a tool or maybe not. So this will not be a limiting factor. iCast as a service is not only possible for liquid silicone, it will be also possible and available for other materials. And we can also roll out this process among our sister sites, mind the global footprint we have available in the silicone world with Trelleborg. So to summarize, this really provides a superior value for price. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jarno.
My pleasure.
All right. So if you're ready for questions, I have a few.
Oh yeah, looking forward. Yes.
Good. I think you were touching upon this in the last slide as a summary, but throughout the presentation. But I still have to ask the question.
Yeah.
Is the LSR material used for iCast really the same as in the series?
Yes, it is really the same, meaning really. And it is not only that it's based on the series material and then we add some additive or we add some solvent or we pre-manipulate it. It is the standard material. There are no additives, there are no fillers. And then also the transformation process with a molding process, but also with a curing process, will be exactly the same. So the parts are, in comparison from a material perspective, exactly same like in the series injection molding process later on.
So you are confirming what Daniel was saying earlier. So when we produce a prototype, it is a functional prototype
yes.
A functional prototype, I think you would call it.
It is, and this is also where the iCast helps at the front end, because we're not only confirming, yes, we can do it, or no, we cannot do it, but based on the application, we can then also suggest, say, okay, if we may reposition the injection point, it will then later on also fit for a high volume injection molding process.
Okay, so we are thinking about the next step as well.
Exactly.
I have some questions, so I need to pick one. I need to pick my favorite. No, I'm kidding. But I wanted to continue this, what we have been talking about, LSR, the iCast process, and so on. So, and I think the gentlemen were also talking about two-part component.
Yeah.
So, would it be possible to have a two-component part with iCast?
To answer perfectly right, it would be possible, because as always it depends. It depends a bit on the counter component, whether aluminium, metal, thermoplast, what type of thermoplast. So there is no general yes or no. There is it would be possible, but of course we would need to evaluate it. But the technology of the iCast service allows two component parts.
Okay.
We made them already, we delivered them already, and they did function well in the application, yes.
So it depends on the combination. Yeah. Good. What about reworking or polishing, or is there anything that we need to do to the part, to the surface, after we have the part from iCast?
No, the surface quality, the tolerances, the resolution of the part, they are comparable to injection molding. Of course, there is a last 3% in very demanding product requirements, which today you only obtain out of steel. But in return, you would not obtain them out of an aluminium prototyping insert neither. So if we compare market available prototyping service, the iCast is even better, and there's no need to rework the parts afterwards.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have experience with any other material for iCast other than LSR at the moment?
Yes, we do have. We are looking at the moment into polyurethane which is relatively similar from flow behavior. So this is going. And we are also working on a toolbox, so to say, to provide these materials. But I would suggest and also invite our customers to send us their requirements, because then we can focus on their needs really, instead of trying to pre-development something away from the next trend, so to speak.
Right.
Yeah.
What about our ability for FEA simulation, for functional verifications and pre-validation?
Yes. So either of them are available. I think also the gentleman here mentioned we are fully connected to our R&D colleagues in Stuttgart. This counts also for the iCast service, so FEA simulation possible, also for products we are going to produce by iCast, as any other parts Trelleborg can provide. And we can also include validation aspects, because the iCast as a process is a fully stable, in the manufacturing part, fully automated, therefore repeatable process, which allows validation for both the equipment and then also the product quality.
Okay. Yeah. And I want to refer to the virtual tour. So we saw a clean room in Stein am Rhein, or at least one clean room. And the question goes in that direction. So could iCast parts be produced under ISO 7 or 8 in the clean room?
Yes. Yes.
That was
Clear,
very
yes.
easy.
That's a clear yes. Because as mentioned, the manufacturing process is fully automated, so it's not handcrafted. Therefore, it's automation and it is robotic, which can take part within our clean rooms.
And the very last question for you today. Which surface treatments or coatings are we able to offer?
I mean, generally speaking, it is a variety, basically unlimited. What concerns then silicones, and that includes iCast parts, because at the end they are not different to any other silicone product. It is mostly a surface treatment to reduce the friction in assembly lines, because the material is really stiff. But anything what is possible for silicone parts today will be possible for iCast products as well.
Okay. Yeah. And you saw me closing my iPad, probably. That means we're at the end of the session.
It's a shame.
Yes, I know. But I'm sure we will have you on stage again sometime soon. So I think we have now a few minutes to recap the show.
Yeah.
So my takeaways, being the non-expert, the only non-expert in the room.
But now you are.
A little bit, yes. Actually, yes, I am. So for me, the takeaways are very clear. Partnerships. Partnering is very important. We cover a very, very wide spectrum of capabilities. Yeah. Yeah. Engineering, manufacturing, testing. Yeah. Of course, the tour was a highlight for me. But what are your takeaways, Jarno? What will you remember about today?
I think what was outstanding to me was the in-depth material competency and the knowledge we do have about the raw materials. Yeah. And this is really the base for our manufacturing part of it, because designing a tool, setting up a process require this complete material understanding. And I think this is exceptional for our industry. Yeah. And then also our global footprint, with the opportunity that our sites, our experts from the different areas, they can cooperate very closely. If what is very common in these days, a part gets developed at one part of the world, but the series production eventually should take part at the other end.
Yeah. And that's what I was thinking. I think it was a panel discussion, or maybe you and I had this conversation, I can't remember. But it's, and that's something we like to emphasize. It doesn't matter where the parts or where the solutions are produced. They are the same quality, the same standards, the same everything. It's just we want to be close to our customers, so that's why we are spread out. Yeah. But the quality the customers can expect is the same.
Absolutely the same. And we have We have seen cases, I mean, there are many opportunities, and at the end of the day, it also it is a customer decision. But what we did in the past already very often, we develop something, we even set up a production, and then we can, of course, transfer this production. So once it's validated, we have a proof of concept, it's validated in application, it runs well, but then there's additional demand, maybe in another continent.
Right.
We duplicate it, and then we can transfer it. So there's no need to build it up with different ideas. So that is how we ensure that it's really same.
And another thing that I'm very looking forward to. So iCast will offer probably other materials, right?
Yes.
So that's a surprise. So we probably see you again here talking about iCast with some other materials.
Of course,
sometime.
of course. Yes. Looking forward to that.
Yes, me too. So we have come to the end of our event. We have recorded it. We said it at the beginning. Your questions have been recorded in our live chat. If I was not able to answer them or ask them, we have collected them in any case. And we will, or probably we have already, a link to a survey. So if you go to our live chat and you would have a minute to spare, we would be very happy to hear your opinion, to hear your feedback about today's session, the topics, the format. We try to keep it as interactive and compact as possible. So we're looking forward to your feedback. The recording will be made available on the platform where we are now, so where you found us. You will find the recording. It will be made available. Feel free to watch it again. And I hope that we get to meet again in the near future in another Connects event from Trelleborg. So thank you, Jarno.
My pleasure.
See you soon.